What is up, guys? It's Adam, aka Marf, and this is Marfoogle News. So I am back, and I wanted to talk more about, obviously, what my previous video was over on my sister channel, Marfoogle TV. It has gone viral in the sense of things. It's about 143,000 views in exactly one day, and I wanted to go over some of the things people are saying. First off, what the theory is that T-Man was on a boat that last video that he put out. Now, not the one that he just did. In fact, that video, which I'll show you, actually helps me prove my point. It was locked off, did not move. If you were unaware, though, today they say, oh, no, he's fine. They showed him at Walter Reed, and that's what most people are hearing. But I don't think they're actually seeing how or what capacity that he was shown. So this is his surprise visit to Walter Reed. First off, a lot of people are saying that it's a weird and odd wave that he did. Of course, this is not the best shot they have of him. Mind you, this is what most of the cameras saw. A lot of the cameras that were actually still there were on the wrong side of the street. They didn't know which side he was going to be on. And there's a reason behind that. So people say that this proves or disproves that he was on a boat prior, or a sub, or Air Force One for that prior video the day before. One thing I want to point out is right before this, he literally misguided all of the press and told them all to go back to Washington, D.C. In fact, they are making a big deal out of it. They are livid. They are really pissed off because he basically said, we're going to Washington, D.C. Everybody went back and no press were here. There was very little press. Maybe some of the press that didn't believe it or, were late to the memo, they stuck around and they got barely a couple shots. So 90% of the press were just told, and it was pretty obvious that he was completely throwing them the wrong way, that he was not there. And then he comes out and does this drive-by. One, he is in a tinted suburban limo type beast type thing. It's not the official limo beast, but it is a version of it. This is all, of course, blast proof, everything else. This is one of their badass Suburbans. One, those are tinted windows. Two, he has a mask. One thing that a lot of people do not realize is that the president has probably multiple body doubles, but he at least has one. And there's a reason behind that. There's the same reason that he has two beasts, two limos. If anything ever happens, they have two limos go out, so one is a political decoy. Then, of course, you have two Air Force Ones. One's in the sky as a decoy. So the enemy can never really, nail down where the president actually is. There's two Air Force One helicopters. There's two Air Force One planes. And we pay, the taxpayers pay, this is why we know about them, for both of them to be flying all around. They also have two E-6B Doomsday planes flying at all times. That's why it's actually normal. If you are going to spot them, you're going to see them on the West Coast and the East Coast. So they don't know which one is actually the mobile command center with the president in it. So as far as if you want to talk about body doubles, we're not talking about Las Vegas, Las Vegas impersonators. We're talking about surgery done. You are an NSA or a CIA agent of the highest level, that they would actually do actual surgery on you. This is of course, what people talk about. Previous presidents have had them. All the way back when they really started using body doubles is after the J to the F to the K. Of course, that's a filter, so I wanted to split it up. So after that, they needed to find a way that they made sure that everything they did, they planned out. They plan out everything. This was spontaneous. This didn't make too much sense that they planned it out like this. In fact, it just doesn't make any sense either. Now, the video before this, if you pair that up, they go, oh, well, of course he's at Walter Reed. One thing that I keep seeing in the comments is people have been looking online at Walter Reed and say there's no area with cabinets and all of this. I actually saw that too, but I don't think, they can actually have a presidential suite that they don't put out publicly. They may have a presidential suite that's made up like that. Here's the thing. If you want to talk about duplicates, the president has a duplicate of all of the scenarios and the settings for his press conferences. So they can make anywhere in the world look like he is at the White House, and they've done this before as well. They can make the backgrounds, everything. They have identical backgrounds, so again, the enemy does not know where he truly is. He could be at the bottom of the ocean in a submarine, and they will have that whole setup. If you've ever seen the movies that, of course, go through fictional scenarios, they always show the president kind of with a movie stage kind of setup if they're not in the White House, and it's usually a square, and it usually looks like the White House. That is because he could be anywhere. Some people said that the previous video, which I'll show you, again, this is the capacity we saw the president. I don't even want to get into some of the crazier things, like we just went into the fact that DARPA has plates of glass that can project any image and make somebody in it, designed for Queen of England. In fact, it was designed for the Queen of England to actually have her image look like she is in a car when she's really not. Again, they can make anyone sitting there. They could put Elvis Presley or Tupac in there, and it would look like he is waving at you. Not saying that's what that is. That's, again, crazier. But let's keep going. I'm going to show you. This, only in my mind, this 100% tells me something's up. Again, I've talked to bigger creators, bigger people that have done film. This next video, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. That is the picture, by the way. This is a zoom in on the picture of the president. I've looked at the ears, looked at the mouth, and I actually just, something about his eyes don't say that. One, we don't know where this picture, if it does have an original photographer, if he has it dated right there, it could be from a different time. There's only very few times where, there's only twice really that he wears this one mask with the presidential seal on it. So this is most likely current. But is that him? His hairline that juts out like this. I looked at everything from the shape of his ear. His left ear is a little bit pointed, and then the right ear is a little bit rounded. Again, they could have somebody who looks strongly like him go through actual plastic surgery to be a body double. That sounds like fiction, but that's actually protocol. That's like, this is the crazy stuff that our government really does. So we'll move on. I'm telling you that there's some big stuff going on right now. And again,
thanking all of the incredible medical.
So here, Dex actually sped this up at the end, but I'll just mark this off real quick. Again, the last one was pretty bad. I just kind of threw it up. But if we mark say the tassels, that's pretty much enough. I would say keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on the book. The book is now not even showing. It actually is moving like this, and when you put multiple points, you'll see that it's not just all going up and down, it is actually doing a wave. So if you mark off the difference time by time, which I did, it is actually going like this. Now, people said if there was a camera on a tripod and he is sitting there and they were on a boat, then it would all move and it wouldn't show. That would be true. But if it is a stabilized lens, it would be compensating for the movement of the boat. In fact, I can actually prove this. Anybody who has any kind of 2.8 L lens with a stabilized lens, or any stabilized lens for a DSLR, they can actually test this out themselves. They can actually put it on a tripod, and then they can move the actual platter that is on, and they could even simulate the boat motion, and it will do the same thing. Just the tiny bit of force that it takes if a boat was going up and down is going to make that stabilization think that it needs to compensate, which again, people said, oh, well, it could have been handheld. The next video wasn't handheld. In fact, it was so locked down, and I'll even show you that here in a second. It looks like he's losing his balance, like he's standing in a frickin' boat. Some people thought that this was in a sub. I'll show you why.
Professionals, the doctors, the nurses, everybody at Walter Reed Medical Center. I think it's the finest in the world for the incredible job they've been doing. I came here, wasn't feeling so well. I feel much better now. We're working hard to get me all the way back. I have to be back because we still have to make America great again. We've done an awfully good job of that, but we still have steps to go, and we have to
I just want to point out that I started the tassels. In fact, let me just rewind. I think you get the point. So watch the tassels. It'll even get bigger.
Doctors, the nurses, everybody at Walter Reed Medical Center. I think it's the finest in the world for the incredible job they've been doing. I came here, wasn't feeling so well. I feel much better now. We're working hard to get me all the way back. I have to be back because we still...
Everything about this speech says it was spontaneous, that it didn't necessarily have a speechwriter. Obviously, he does a lot of spontaneous stuff. Again, so this is proving my point on this. Obviously, the last video was cut off a little bit. A lot of people couldn't see that it was like this. In a second here, it's actually going to go into 8 times speed, and you can really see it moving. And I think that's actually it right there. See the drastic movement. So, again, somebody hand holding, why would they be doing that? This is a presidential address. Unless it was something completely spontaneous, which that doesn't make sense either. If it is a stabilized or gimbal, then it would most likely, then that means they would have to be holding it, right? Again, that's the one part that really doesn't make sense. So why would he be on a sub, and why is that important? Or why, if he was on an aircraft carrier or a ship? Well, it would be important because that means that he is under some sort of, I guess, they don't want him out and about. Something tells me that this is getting very close to the day that we all put those things in the box, and something tells me that he's having some serious things going on. Mind you, just as he was at Walter Reed, again, they say he's at Walter Reed, they had 2 suspicious packages and ended up having bomb squad respond to it. It ended up being nothing, but of course they're going to do that anyways, right? Because they're always that paranoid. They're always going to, check every box, make sure to dot every Q, whatever. But that also could be a sign that they are on high alert and they are looking out for absolutely anything going wrong. Now, somebody said, "Oh, well, you just let everybody know where he is." No, actually, I didn't. In fact, if I noticed and Dex noticed and if a few other people noticed that we're just, YouTubers, I guarantee you the think tanks behind China, Russia, and all these other countries, they analyze every single video that this man puts out and any video that our government puts out, and they analyze it. They would have caught that in the first 10 seconds. I guarantee it. They would have known, oh, he's on the sea or he's here or whatever. Not to mention they have their own versions of, finding out where he is, whatever. But again, I didn't give away any information. Finding somebody in the sea, if he was on the sea and I just blew his secret, is like basically picking up a winning lotto ticket. It's just not going to happen. Now to the next speech here. I think that Ben from Edge of Wonder, I talked to him. He thinks it's weird too. It's not just me. It's honestly there's just something weird, and we all feel it. But nobody wants to speak up because you get made fun of, and I'm sure people are going to say, "Oh, you're nuts," this and that. So let's see here. Let's get to this. Okay, here's a zoomed in, cropped version. And it's sped up 8 times so you can see. It's way more drastic when you actually separate it and look at it. And mind you, this is very, very slow. So it's like it's going up and down, up and down. Most people are like, well, who cares as long as he's safe? I get that. But we're not. If something is going on like this, when have you seen a handheld video? Okay, so I guess I proved my point on that one, right? I think everybody in chat's probably, yep. Okay, here's the next video.
And I want to thank them all. the nurses, the doctors, everybody here.
Okay, this video is supposedly the same room, and again, they could have this same room in China, Japan, the moon. Some other people said, oh, well, if he's at Walter Reed, you know, that totally disproves it. Actually, no. Don't forget, this man has his own Air Force. He can get from here to China in a matter of hours. He can go from here to Russia in a matter of hours. In fact, when they're campaigning, they'll be in New York at noon, and they'll be in Seattle for dinner. I mean, that's completely normal. In fact, they'll be in Australia for dinner and then breakfast in Seattle. It's something that's normal for a president. They travel all over the place. They have an Air Force that is constantly up in the air. And very well that could have meant that he was being hidden or being protected for a day, right? One day they neutralize the problem and then he's back. That still matters. People should still care. If he's not, if it's just a stupid gimbalized thing, if this got enough attention to where they actually responded and told us what it was, I would love to see the behind the scenes on that. Because as somebody who does film, Ben from Edge of Wonder, same thing. We've worked with a ton of cameras. I'm trying to think if I have. I have stabilized lens. I'll show you guys. It's the same thing, but it doesn't do it if it's locked off. It doesn't do it if it's on a tripod. Even if you're holding it, it doesn't do that kind of motion unless the person holding it is doing that kind of motion. And then the fact that he does
meet some of the soldiers and the first responders and
Pepe is all that.
I also think we're going to pay a little surprise to some of the great patriots that we have out on the street, and they've been out there for a long time, and they've got Trump flag.
Okay, so he's basically saying they're out there. They got the T-Man flags. By the way, this is locked off, does not move at all. But I want to show you the very first frame of this video. Let's see here. It almost looks like he's getting his balance.
We're getting great reports from the doctors. This is an incredible hospital, Walter Reed. The work they do is just absolutely amazing, and I want to thank them all, the nurses, the doctors, everybody here. I've also gotten to meet some of the soldiers and the first responders, and what a group. I also think we're going to pay a little surprise to some of the great patriots that we have out on the street, and they've been out there for a long time, and they've got Trump flags.
Okay, so again, with this video, locked off. So the same place, why would they do a video yesterday in the same room and all of a sudden the video quality is not moving around? They don't have a stabilized lens. Unless, the video got almost 150,000 views. Maybe somebody got back to the White House and said, hey, they think you're on a boat. Maybe we should lock this down or fix this issue. So they fixed it. It's completely locked off. You don't see any movement. Why did he do this announcement in the first place? Why did he feel like he had to do this? Probably in response to MSM saying he's this or saying he's that. Or big people on Twitter like Michael Moore or these people saying that he's not okay. I believe he's okay, but I also believe that he might not, that he is okay in a very safe spot. And that kind of makes me, to say the least, a little bit nervous. A lot of people are going to say, oh, you're just, who cares? You're crazy. You're paranoid, this and that. No, I know that we're 30 days away from the frickin' thing. And if you haven't noticed, 2020 has been absolutely nuts. I mean, we're talking about this year was the year that we had a pandemic, and now everything has changed. So I would not be surprised by absolutely anything. And then the fact that they told the press to leave and to fly back to Washington, D.C., and then drove around the block real quick, that doesn't prove to me nothing. Especially since just 2 weeks ago, I covered the DARPA technology that can make the Queen look like she's sitting in a car when she's not. You don't think we don't, I mean, DARPA's our guys. That's weird to me. This whole thing is weird to me. And other people think so too. I would like you to go to the Marfoogle TV, the sister channel, go down and look at the comments. It's not just one or two. It's like 100 Navy guys saying, "Yeah, that looks like video taken on a ship." Maybe they're wrong. Maybe we're all wrong. But again, it's weird. It's odd. The reason why I pointed it out and the reason why it's probably gaining is because it does make it makes sense. It doesn't make sense, and that's why it makes sense that we're talking about it. All right, guys. Highly suggest you guys check out our website, marfooglenews.com. Again, we actually usually back up everything that we have on our website. Any given website, any given show that we do is usually a 2-hour live call-in show. We actually have every single source that we use, so you actually know where we're getting the information. I don't normally do videos like this, but again, this was a very good catch, and I think that it was very odd. It was totally off. All right, you guys, love you. Again, check out our website, marfooglenews.com. Be safe, be prepared.